chin and a metro.
I'm not sure what
Trent
she's
or
of a
something.
yeah,
I feel
of
just a movie.
yeah, a little greasy and yeah.
Just repeat to yourself, hey, it's just a show. I should really just relax. For mystery science theater 3000.
So,
Oh,
if we were more prepared and, or anything, we might have, tried to make, Laser Blast this one because of the vague football association, but to hell with it.
yeah. Foresight is not what we do.
No.
Not here at Journey into Mystery.
No. You don't get no foresight here. You barely get 3 sight.
2.5 at best.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking of one of the old Muppet shows. I don't remember. I think it was John Cleese. It was like, I'm here on this third-rate variety show. And Kermit's just like, second-rate. On the other hand, we've got a doozy of a movie this time around.
Oh, we've got a doozy of a movie. We've got 2 doozies of a moosies.
2 doozies of movies.
Of movies.
So yes, and it's also from I will say, it's the she creature. I mean, y'all probably saw the title when you clicked on the video, I would assume.
One would hope.
I don't know why we try and make this a mystery.
It's all in the name. We figure if you commit hard enough, if we just commit hard enough to it, we can gaslight the audience into being surprised.
Commit to sparkle motion. I don't. But yes. I will, right out of the bat, I will say that having watched the uncut version, it is really good that this came right when the brains were kind of at their peak. When they were just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Because, whoo boy.
I can imagine that this would have been a dreadfully dull movie, for reasons that I'll explain later on why I'm certain of that. But oh man, yeah, this is a dull, charmless, greasy film.
And just think, it almost and I say it could have starred Peter Lorre.
Was that who was supposed to be Carlo Lombardi?
Possibly. Wikipedia is not terribly clear on this. What we have is as the director persuaded his old friend Edward Arnold, who played a whole bunch of kind of large scummy villains in throughout the 30s and all that, to play the hypnotist for $3,000 for 1 week's work. And also cast Peter Lorre.
Okay.
But then Arnold died 2 days before they were to start production, so Lorre read the script. So Lorre actually started to read the script. And then he said...
Oh, and then he ran for the hills?
Fuck this noise. Fuck this noise. I'm out. Peace out, bitches.
Hip Peter Lorre is going to be my new meme.
Yes, we'll hashtag it.
But
that'll be the new the new popular meme. Hip Peter Lorre. Yeet yeet. So instead, we got some greasy guy who has kind of nothing. I mean, he's been in a ton of things, but he apparently was in this long series of movies called about Boston Blackie, and he was the lead character.
Looks like he was definitely one of them cowboy actors.
Well, this was a jewel thief and safecracker, and became a detective in adaptations for films, radio, and television.
Oh, yeah.
An enemy to those who make him an enemy, friend to those who have no friend.
Huh.
So he did 14 of these movies.
How very strange.
Yeah, Well, apparently this was like his second to last thing, because then he died of like a barbiturate overdose.
Yeesh. By the way, the person we're talking about is Chester Morris,
Oh,
correct?
yes, sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
Chester Morris.
yeah. It is. It was starting to get weird that we were getting that deep in the biography before we mentioned who he was. But it's like,
I told you, one and a half. One and a half site.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
downgrading it as we go. Eventually, we will start to get into the negative numbers, and we're just going to completely disassociate.
What we got to do is, but if we wind up hitting negative 255, it'll swing right back over.
And we hit the kill screen and start over.
Yeah, I've been trying to hit the kill screen and start this planet over for ages. Ah, the
And also another fun thing. This is something I'm a little surprised that Mystery Science didn't catch on. Although I think when Frank left, the person who was really into that kind of trivia was no longer there. I feel like Frank was the one who was very into keeping track of the actors.
yeah, could be.
So Lance Fuller was in another Mystery Science movie, and in a role people would pretty well remember. He was Brack in This Island Earth.
No, they make a reference to this island Earth.
Do they?
Yeah, they make a joke reference to this island Earth when they see Lance Fuller's name.
I don't remember that. And I just watched this movie.
Now, this movie does have the ability to erase parts of your memory.
Hmm.
That is true. My God, this movie is boring.
Oh, it is so much just standing and talking and muttering 3 inches from each other's faces.
Also, it's
And Mystery Science didn't cut much.
yeah, and it's one of those movies that has a tentative grasp on everything, very tenuous grasp
Hmm.
on everything, because it doesn't understand hypnotism, past lives, the basics of the basis of the entertainment trade, uh,
Yeah.
the basics
Science, police work.
of any of it, because okay, on the one hand, I can appreciate that the creature in this is actually very well made, or at least creative.
Yeah. A little hinky on some of the design choices, but as a big rubber suit, not shabby.
Well, as Tom does point out, it does have a prison matron bosom.
That
Um,
doesn't freak me out so much as the hair.
yeah.
It's got hair on the back, curls.
Well, the crazy thing about it is like it's mostly lobster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's like one, yes, the distant ancestors of humanity were at one point aquatic creatures, and when we were just lobe-finned fish. We were
Mm-hmm.
just sort of fish with ugly hands. We were not.
Yeah.
There was no like the humanoid upright shape came much later in the whole
Much,
process.
much,
Later.
way much, very much.
That's been in the past 5 million years or so. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
when we were going through the points where we had scales, there was nothing like that in our past. That said, at least they tried to make the monster interesting looking. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I could easily see that with maybe a different head stomping through a miniature Tokyo.
yeah, it could definitely be a kaiju, or uh,
Yeah.
at the very least of the like Ultraman is going to kill this in 15 minutes type of type.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It would make a good was it Tokutatsu? Am
yeah,
I thinking of
yeah,
the right?
I think that's the right term.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
it
good
would.
Power Ranger monster.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's no rapping pumpkin, but what is?
Oh well, very little.
Getting bored with tin-head sword. You're gonna fight to say goodnight here.
But it's it's a crayfish, crayfish of doom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure what Carlo Lombardi's whole motivation is.
Yeah, that's a little fuzzy.
Because he's got his motivations that he talks about, and then he has his actions that he takes, and those do not coincide at all. It's
He
like,
commits random murders with the she crayfish,
right,
and
because,
he wants to prove that he can do this.
right.
But then he doesn't actually do it in a way. When he gets scientists to listen to him, he just pulls their glasses off.
Well, yeah,
And
he
that's
doesn't
literally
ever,
it.
he doesn't make any of the big demonstrations. Also, if you're going to prove that you can project the essences of past lives into physical form, which is a pretty neat ability. I mean, that's some high-level scion shit from D&D. You
Yeah,
know, make yourself a tulpa, whatever. But if you're going to
that
prove...
sounds delicious. A nice tulpa,
Yeah,
get a little
yeah.
sour cream.
Mhm. Uh, but yeah, especially if they're deep fried in the pork fat. Yeah, that's...
Oh yeah.
But
Okay, so you were saying projecting,
yeah, but
good
he
skill.
already establishes that through his braggery that he could totally manifest the harmless English middle upper class lady, that he could give her physical form. I would think that would be the much quicker and safer avenue towards getting the appreciation and recognition of scientists. If you're going to apparate
And
something into the room, something controllable would seem to be the way to go.
and also something that, isn't easily faked.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm watching, because they make a lot of jokes about it, but man, his act is so incredibly fakeable.
Oh yeah, well, like his whole act is depending on like a subject of whom he is already acquainted with and is like double billing with. So clearly
Mm-hmm.
they're in on the act.
Yeah.
Pretends to be hypnotized and then makes a couple of statements about their past lives in a way that anybody with an Encyclopedia Britannica could probably pull off.
Mm-hmm.
They have the one thing with with the amulet and the fact that they confirm it that way, but that could very easily have been planted. Um,
It could also just have been in her diary or something.
right, it could have been in her diary. There's any
If she's
number
if
of
she's a
ways.
if she's a no if she's a noble of some renown, then there's probably some details out there.
But like the stuff that would be very simple would be to apparate the physical manifestation of something into the room and demonstrate that it can manipulate objects.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's very difficult to fake and is much more impressive. But the other thing is that
And I mean, doing it in someone's living room would be very much, that would be good. That would be amazing. And it kind of kills me that this is another case where, the villain's right. The villain succeeded.
well,
The good guys are all wrong because they're like, yeah, you loser, you stupid, you can't do. No, he can.
no, like I mean, yeah, he's an asshole and he uses it to kill people. But also,
For no.
apparently, the one thing that hypnosis cannot do is make a circus, I guess, groupie, a carnival groupie is how they describe
Mm-hmm.
her. She was a
A carnival follower.
follower. Yeah, that's basically being a groupie.
Yeah, yeah.
How freaking dust bowl ravaged must your eyes be for the to follow a carnival around? Not even a full-fledged circus.
Especially one that looks like that. The few outdoor shots of the carnival we have are revolting.
It could have seriously like incredibly strange creatures could have been happening on the opposite side of the lot.
I
It
mean, the I watched this on Amazon, which had a pretty clear print.
yeah.
Pretty decent definition, but it was still murky, but you could really easily see, which you couldn't see behind the silhouettes, the puddles on the ground in the just these dingy puddles, and the guy picking up just the piles of trash in the background.
Yeah,
The carnival looks like shit.
yeah, it's
I would I would want to disinfect my everything if I went to that carnival.
if there was a movie that could be best described by the word moist, it's this film.
Yeah.
This is a moist film.
This is an unpleasantly moist. Dank is a good one too.
It's like picking up a washcloth that you didn't realize had Vaseline on it.
Oh. Oh.
Am I wrong?
I don't know if I want to confirm that. Ah.
Oh,
Ah.
and
No. Oh. Ooh.
but what most people may not be aware of when it comes to this movie, because She Creature is relatively well known. It's a good, B movie monster.
Mm-hmm.
In the C list of the B list is where she'd sort of be sitting.
Yeah.
But this movie has a remake.
Mm-hmm.
It was remade 11 years later for television, for TV, by the way. And the remake
Mm-hmm.
is almost universally inferior. And that's remarkable because, all right, one, it was made on like no money, and I mean no money.
And I'm gonna give him a little bit of. Do you want to tell him who it was made by, or should I?
You do it because I'm gonna have plenty to say about that remake.
A guy called Larry Buchanan. He is perhaps, according to Wikipedia, he is perhaps most famous for the films The Eye Creatures, Zontar, The Thing from Venus, It's Alive, and Mars Needs Women.
Wait, one of those was an actual movie.
No, I think that's Attack of the Eye Creatures.
No, Mars Needs Women is an actual movie, like Jeff
Oh
Goldblum's in
yeah.
that.
No,
But
no, that's Earth Girls Are Easy.
oh. Oh, never mind. I was.
Oh wait, no. Attack of the Eye Creatures.
But the thing is that most of those are remakes of Mystery Science Theater movies.
Oh no, he was involved in the Attack of the Eye Creatures.
Yeah,
He
because
was the director of Attack of the Wikipedia. How dare you?
But like, I think one of those like Zondar is like a remake of It Came from Another World or something like that.
Zontar, the Thing from Venus. Young scientist who helps a lone alien from Venus learns out. Yeah, it looks like that's a remake of It Conquered the World.
Yeah, it conquered the world. Yeah, no, he did. He got the rights somehow to do remakes of tons of these movies. Well, I will say that perhaps got the rights to is presumptuous to say.
American International had the rights, I guess, and well, no, because this was an American International,
Right.
I think, and then yeah, they just
See, the movie
yeah.
when they now, mind you, again, there are sections of this movie that I don't remember because all versions of the She Creature can induce brief periods of amnesia
Oh
on
my God,
exposure.
Zontar, the Thing from Venus starred John Agar. We're in a hole here.
Yeah, but
Oh.
basically, this was a lower budget version of the She Creature, which meant that there were no carnival.
Mm-hmm.
There's no carnival. I'm pretty sure the whole subplot with the dog isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
There were no comic relief Icelandic waiters.
Good.
And yet it's still a full 120 minutes.
Oof.
And so it's the She Creature, but everything that could possibly cost money isn't there. And
including a costume.
oh my god, the costume, it's like a slee stack if it was on Clyde Frog.
If Kermit and a Slee Stack had a baby.
Yeah, I mean, I was going with Clyde Frog because the puppets on that show are completely dead-eyed and lifeless. But it also bears a slight resemblance to the sodium allergic creatures from the Nightmare
The
Party
horror
Beach.
party beach without the hot dogs.
Yeah, it just has normal teeth instead of a mouthful of hot dogs.
Well, normal.
Well, normal monster teeth, but its eyes are clearly ping pong balls. Anyway, and I took screenshots that Greg's gonna edit in here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And it's like a parallel universe in a science fiction movie, but like one of the lame ones where like everybody's just slightly different and there's no real point to it because like the characters' names are different. That's the main difference. So instead of having Dr. Carlo Lombardi, he's Dr. John Basso. And the movie is mostly the same, almost shot for shot, some lines of dialogue unchanged. But it does have a dorky beach band.
Oh, goody.
Yes, and they are one of the highlights of the film. Because according to Wikipedia, in addition to playing one of the she creature's victims, Texas rockabilly singer Scotty McKay, aka Max K. Lipscomb, performed 3 songs in the movie, including "Here Comes Batman," his tribute to the popular TV series. And this is done in full, like, Girl in the Gold Boots. We're just going to stop this movie right here so the band that we hired to do some of the music can get in their single.
Delightful.
Yeah. And then, like, he has 2 songs at the beginning, then he sings his third one and is immediately killed by the she creature.
Nice.
Now, the most baffling part of the film is that it opens with the final kill of the movie.
Oh, I thought you were going to end it opens.
No.
It's that it opens.
The movie starts, there is no explanation. It's a cold start into the she creature hunting down a dude in an abandoned factory or warehouse or some such thing. And it's the chief of police character. There is no dialogue and there are no sound effects, only the musical score. And we watch this go by for basically 7 minutes. It is 7 minutes before a clearly understood line of dialogue is spoken in this film. And it shows the final kill of the movie with no explanation, and then we cut to the beginning of the story, and then at the end of the movie, we see the guy die again. And the main difference between this movie and in She Creature is in She Creature at the end, the She Creature refuses to kill Bland McBoredom Face, and kills Lombardi, and that ends the cycle of madness or whatever. In this one, Dr. Basso decides that he's going to shoot McHandsome Face. The trashy girl leaps in front of the bullet, dies, and that kills the monster. And then Lombardi kills himself. Not Lombardi, Basso kills himself.
That's not as satisfying.
Yeah, the nature of the psychiatrist character having an affair with the chick is less... It's there in the Creature of Destruction, but it's not, like, no one pays any attention to it, and it's kind of forgotten. So, like, that whole aspect doesn't matter.
Then that means we don't get... Hopefully the guy doesn't have the same kind of creepy-ass stare Lance Fuller has when he's looking at that girl.
No, the dude is an egg. He is an unhatched human being. He is so baby-faced. He looks
He's
like
still got the yolk on him.
yeah, he looks like he should be the sort of the buddy hero in one of these surf movies. Like, but they're like, yes, the important military psychiatrist, baby-face McChild boy. Golly gee willikers, I think it's a she creature. It's just like, so,
Baby face.
he looks like he's 14. It's so I'm exaggerating a small amount. A small amount. But you can see him in. I sent you over the pictures. The last picture in that sequence. That's our hero. That's not a random character. That is our hero right there. I mean, he doesn't have that, like...
He's a soda jerk.
Yeah, he doesn't have that, like... Well,
he looks like he should have a paper hat and be behind a counter making floats.
Well, I mean, compared to the guy from the original movie, he looks like he should be making a shirt out of one of the other female cast members. But... as he steadfastly refuses to act...
It puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again. Oh.
Yeah, but this guy is just like, he's saying all the same stuff with the same level of authority, but he's clearly just about to ask his parents if he can borrow the keys to the car. Should be hanging out with Mark Hamill in Corvette Summer.
You've put her in a cataleptic state. Get her out of it.
Yeah, it's...
I couldn't help but notice that the guy who plays, what's his nuts who plays not Dr. Carlo Lombardi, Les Tremayne, was in a Mystery Science movie. He was Tolliver, the crazy newspaper guy in The Slime People. Goat Man.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
and apparently he was in the Phantom Toll Booth.
Well,
did a lot of voice work, apparently.
Fun fact about the creature of destruction. Aaron Kincaid is said, Babyface McGee, and the only reason he was in that movie, according to Wikipedia, is because he was in the film as part of an out-of-court settlement with AIP. He filmed for 2 weeks to meet his contractual obligations and then left to return home.
He got Mike Myred.
Yeah, he got
Mike Myred.
He got Mike Myred. He got forced into it to the point that they needed audio pickup on him, and so the director drove with him in the car to the airport to record it in the back seat.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah.
Back to the she creature. Our producer, Alex Gordon. You want to know what he wrote?
I'm gonna bet it wasn't The Book of Love.
He wrote 2 Ed Wood movies. The Atomic Monster and The Hidden Face. Wood filmed them and renamed them as Bride of the Monster and Jailbait.
Oh my gosh.
Bride of the Monster.
Which is the Ed Wood movie where the Wolfman and some other monster are watching someone strip?
No, I don't know what one that is. Bride of the Monster is He Peppered God's Lo Mein.
Oh, yeah. No, like...
Bela Lugosi and Tor Johnson kidnapping, and you have an octopus.
Yeah, no, the one I'm thinking of is from when Ed Wood was really at the low point of his career, and that's saying something.
The softcore porn years?
Yeah, it was one of the softcore porn ones.
I don't know much about that era of Ed Wood, to be honest.
Orgy of the Dead.
Yeah, this film is just so dank and slow, and just the fact that nobody, like, they were inspired by a book. Let me see if I can find it.
Yet another unforgivable crime of literacy.
Yeah,
Fahrenheit at a point.
I'm looking at the wrong. I still had the Creature of Destruction up. Okay, here we go. The Search for Bridie Murphy. This best-selling, yeah, was inspired by the success of the best-selling book, The Search for Bridie Murphy, which concerned hypnotism. He thought it would make a good film, so American International had somebody shit out this little thing.
None of this works like that.
No. I mean, I suppose it was clever to jump on that bandwagon.
The real thing doesn't work, but this doesn't even work in the way that the real thing is supposedly going to work. Yeah, hypnotism is made uppy, but this is made uppy and gets it wrong.
This is made up in a way that makes it look more fake.
Yeah, yeah. Also, no one has an understandable motivation in the whole darn thing.
No, that's not true. The daddy has the motivation that he's a rich bastard who decides he's going to profit off people's misery.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, except for the financier, he's the only one who makes sense.
Yeah.
But like,
And he gets his comeuppance, which I guess is supposed to be the message. Except Carlo Lombardi is also out for money.
well, yeah, except that Carlo Lombardi is like, he wants money, he wants power, he wants a general vague revenge, and he wants the hypnotized girl. What's her name?
I don't remember her name. She makes exactly zero impression on the viewer.
Which you got to admit, I mean, on the one hand, you wouldn't have any kind of plot tension. There would be no problem if, Carlo Lombardi could just mind control her to be into him, which you would think would probably be simpler than manifesting in physical reality the past lives of someone. But
Mm-hmm.
what do I know? I'm a Scorpio. But yeah, it's they make a lot of hay about like how alluring and interesting she is, and all she does is sleep.
Yeah, she kind of. I feel slightly worried about things. Will you help me fight him?
Yeah, there's
Well, apparently, the actress Marla English was signed by Paramount after winning a San Diego beauty pageant.
okay. I mean,
And she was often cut out of the films that she appeared in. Oh, wow.
huh. That's unfortunate. I mean, I'm not saying that she's not attractive. She's a pretty girl, but
No.
you
Yeah.
know,
She's not an actress.
yeah,
Bless her.
she's not an actress, and also
She's very beautiful and such a talent, but, not an actress.
but she's also not in that kind of zone that where you could understand her irresistible magnetic attraction pulling in all of these weird hypnotists.
Yeah. And
Because
that God Lance Fuller's, oh wow, she's hot face. That's a look you warn neighborhoods about.
yeah, there's something about the way he moves his eyebrows. It's just unpleasant. But
That is a look that immediately precedes.
but
Did I just make you puke a little? I'm sorry.
nah, it's okay. I mean, yeah, that was gross, and you know how I feel about meat sounds, but but yeah, it's like, come on, Carlo, you're making good money off of this incredibly lame act. I'm sure you can find someone who's willing to deal with your pork smell.
And well, apparently she is the perfect hypnotic subject or whatever. But what I don't understand is he's making all this money, but it seems like the real kicker is when he gets kicked out of Rich McHuffington's place.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when he starts to decide, well, I'm just going to have to kill everybody.
Yeah, it does sort of
Why?
escalate quickly from that point, I would say.
I mean, he's got a good chunk of money. Like, I don't see. I mean, why would he want to be there anyway?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. How many people do you know who, if they had to live with their boss, would continue living with their boss after they had the option to move out?
Like, I've had some okay bosses, and there's not a damn one of them I would want to live with or even near. Not a one.
Yeah, like,
It's harder to get away with your murders if you're, you know.
well, also, just, you would think that just not having to deal with the people around there, you know, basically pulling you aside to show them a magic trick every 5 minutes, it has to be an annoying situation. But
Yeah, I don't.
I hallucinated a whole subplot to this that I realized did not exist when I rewatched it.
Which was that?
I had imagined, and it was in the way that, like, you know how when you're a kid and you watch an episode of Thundercats and it's complete nonsense, and then like you make up all the shit it's required to make it make sense. Um, my
So that's the same thing as watching it when you're an adult.
right, yeah. So I mean, it's the only way to survive.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
Go on.
had I had thought that maybe I had remembered them insinuating that there was something going on with Carlo Lombardi and Rich Dude's wife. Like,
Hmm.
either he was doing a thing with her on the side, or he was like had particularly wrapped her around his finger or something to,
Well, he kinda had, but they never. Yeah, yeah.
and so I could have seen that being like, if that had actually been in the movie, that would explain why Lombardi would want to stay on site. Because I mean, he's skeezy in every possible way.
Yeah,
So
the old Aunt B finding out about it, and and her circle of friends who are all looking for the latest shoddy hypnotist, I guess, is what inspire is like one of the inspirational things that makes Mr. Huffington decide to hire Carlo. So
yeah,
I guess.
it's just like he's already skeezy in every possible way. I assumed harem building would be part of his whole deal, but no.
Hmm.
Apparently, he likes the unattainable, perfect hypnotic subject, which is basically like, if you're the perfect hypnotic subject, that basically definitionally means that you're mostly asleep.
Although he doesn't strike me as the kind of person who would particularly care if they were asleep when push comes to shove.
Well, yeah, he's skeezy in every possible way. He's Dr. Carlo Lombardi.
He'll watch over you.
Which means we should talk
I
about
don't
the
know that
sketches.
Crow could have picked. I don't know that Crow could have picked a worse word than sticky.
But there is a particular type of bad cinema, which is just cinema that feels kind of gross. It's greasy, and this is one of those. And those types
It
of
leaves a
words,
munge when
yeah,
you stop touching it.
it's like it's like the plaster walling over the the fry cooker.
Yeah.
It's it's become something else. Most of it being
Oh.
chicken fat, but
Oh, the Tickle Me Dr. Carlo Lombardi sketch. That I
classic.
won't say it's the moment that sold me on Bill, because I'm pretty sure I could pick something earlier than that. But it is a quintus. But it is like pure Bill. He makes just the way he. Yo, I don't think you'd want to disappoint him, Mike.
Dr. Carlo Lombardi doesn't like to be disappointed.
And I made him sticky, so he's even more fun. See, I can't hear Trace doing that. So that is a very Bill Crow moment, and I love it.
Yeah.
And once again, we get a lot of good face acting out of Mike. Just his reactions.
Why?
And his little worried smile when Crow says that he better tickle him.
Oh.
This is definitely the brains at the top of their game, and I know that there was a little bit of grumbling about the idea that the Sci-Fi Channel wanted an ongoing story,
Mm-hmm.
but I really do feel like bouncing from planet to planet and civilization really energized them.
Well, it did make it so that there was always something to pin the sketches on, which
Yeah.
was something that like the sketches could often get untethered and out of control. But
Mm-hmm.
at least if you always had a humorous circumstance to fall back on, you could always fall back on the story place to fill in if the movie wasn't lifting its weight
Yeah,
sketch
like the
wise.
middle sketch with row your boat.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very and it's just that's just a very good Pearl Bobo brain guy dynamic right out of the gate. Belligerent Pearl, obsequious and dim Bobo, and just kind of beaten down brain guy.
Yep.
Just right out of the gate, pretty much perfect.
Yeah, they established that dynamic very well. There was
I'm sorry, Mike. I accidentally lied. Your movie is. I accidentally lied. Also, another very good bit of face acting from Mike as one of the observers when Pearl's doing that.
mm-hmm.
If you watch that sequence, when she's talking to, hey, hold on, Mike, I accidentally lied, and you look, and there's Mike in the background, like, wait, what the fuck was she talking? Just looking around.
The this is the source of one of the great mystery science theaterisms. As time is warped and space is bendable. Uh,
Hmm.
it just goes back to that greasy little film and its weird knockoff that's somehow in color and yet less vibrant.
Yeah, it was so weird. I'm watching this on Amazon and big screen, and it's just so dark. And I've got it on my bright monitor, but the entire movie is just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and like I said, Mystery Science did not cut much, and the two bits they did cut were both commercial and pretty inconsequential. But we're gonna talk about them because that's how we do.
okay. Tell me about the stuff they cut.
Okay, when Dr. Carlo Lombardi is about to make his demonstration for the incredulous angry scientists, there's like this really short bit where it's like basically Carlo says, "Have I ever been alone in this room? So it would be impossible to plant mechanical devices that would, and Lance goes, which I guess is an affirmative that he couldn't do it.
I'm just holding in a whole rant about Project Alpha. So just go.
And then like after what's her nuts resists Dr. Carlo Lombardi and it says, "Oh no, the creature's coming," and the whole thing starts to spiral out of control. There's this brief moment where you get the police chief establishing that he's about to go onto the beach and they should bring squad cars and high-powered rifles.
Mm-hmm.
So that explains why he's there. Doesn't explain why he waits until the creature's about 3 feet away to start shooting.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Lance kind of like grabbing Lombardi and telling him, "You got to pull her out of it." "No, I won't. Step off the dais and I will pull out of her. No, I'll stay here. That I'm not doing anything because I'm not showing anybody my techniques." Yeah. And Lance immediately caves because Lance does fucking nothing in this movie.
Yeah, he's
Because
not really a hero in the traditional sense, is he?
or in any sense really. Because, yeah, he's like, "Okay, I'm going to go stand over here now." And then Lombardi sends, it's Andrea, that's her name, Andrea Talbot.
Mm-hmm.
sends her deeper to summon the she-lobster who starts the killing spree. It's just, wow.
Yeah, the one thing I can think of him doing in the whole thing is the point where he's blocking Carlo's control of her, and Carlo's like, "Someone is fighting me for control of her," and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll stop." Like,
Just, wait, what?
okay, first off, one, psychic powers are way less cool than I have been led to believe. I'm very upset about this. Um, yeah, Professor X, these people ain't. Uh,
Uh,
but yeah, it's like so all it takes to foul up your special powers is one dude sort of scowling at you.
one dude with a boner. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Sorry to say this, Dr. Lombardi. It's no wonder you can't muster up the mind control to deal with this whole I smell of a spiral cut ham problem you've got. It's like, I'm sorry, but like this is one of those situations where like Dr. Carlo Lombardi is experiencing and taking advantage of Aquaman syndrome. And that's the fact that in a universe in which there's a lot of superheroes, Aquaman is not impressive. In a universe where no one has powers except Aquaman, he is amazing. And I think that's what Carlo Lombardi is leaning on here. He has the ability to mildly hypnotize people.
And they're both damp
Yeah, they're both damp.
and smell faintly of shellfish.
Yeah, but at least one of them has a royal title to go along with it.
Fucking Aquaman!
I'm just baffled that he starts at this carnival. He can do this, and he's starting at carnivals for 35 cents.
Well, also, like the dude has like the options for crime that this guy has. It's
I
like
mean, he commits crimes. They're just not crimes that help him.
right, because like you could send a psychic projection to steal shit.
Yeah.
Like, what are people gonna do? You're gonna stop someone's ideas about what it might have been like to be a crayfish from walking off with a bag full of money? How do you even do that?
I
So,
mean, you don't even need the crayfish. Because he has the spirit of Mick ancient McEnglish lady,
yeah,
English lady. That's
yeah,
her real name.
he's got
They have her move things around, and she's not visible.
yeah.
She's not corporeal in any way.
Even if this guy, like, normally when you've got a supervillain, I'm like, why don't you just take your act legit and make way more money? Because you would. Like,
This is
whatever laser you've developed that's going to cut right through a vault door is going to make you way more money on the on the the industry side.
I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
That works for a small group of people, but the Melter's only goal was having money.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like
This
in
is a rare instance.
this is a rare instance where it's the other way around, where I'm like, dude, there are even just better crimes you could be producing. It's like, because you didn't have to murder people. It would just be like, oh, I've sent the frickin' ghosts to go steal shit.
Blackmail.
And the whole thing
Blackmail.
has the feel of a goddamn Scooby-Doo episode anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man, this would make blackmail pretty easy. Just find somebody and say, hey, and hey, I know you murdered this guy. Ha 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 ha.
well,
Be a
just
shame if somebody let the media know.
I'm sure that he doesn't have the ability. Like, okay, so we've established he doesn't have the ability to induce true love, which means he's slightly more. He's basically limited in the same way the genie is from Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
Still a lot you could do. I'm pretty sure he could at least convince people to forget that he'd taken all of their money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, anything along those lines. Basic dime comic Silver Age supervillainy would have improved this guy.
Dr. Carlo Lombardi, a moist failure.
God, he would have that printed on the goddamn cards.
To digress totally, just something that I noticed this time around, watching it now that I live on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Crow makes this remark, so there's just a cliff a few feet away. Well, yeah, it's California. That's kind of how California beaches do in places.
Okay. It's...
There's a lot of beaches in Southern California where it's just da-da-da-da-da, cliff. Couple 100 feet of cliff, beach.
So the topography of the movie is not as questionable as at first thought.
No, it is absolute. And just looking at some of the rocks there, it's like, yeah, no, that's a California. It's just cliff.
I have the ability to summon spirits from the ancient past, and I'm going to use it to kill random beach goers.
Way to go, Dr. Carlo Lombardi.
All so I can hit on a girl whose primary motivation was following carnies from town to town.
Who hates me?
It just...
Who shows her open contempt for me at all times.
You would think maybe a 90% perfect hypnotic subject that actually liked you would be a bit more of a trade-off.
Oh, there was a line he's like when everything's going to hell, like, you kill me and you kill her. Where did that come from? Why do you think Lance is going to kill you? He just kind of shook you. He wasn't going to kill you. He might have beat you up a little.
Yeah,
why do you think he's gonna wait?
When has Lance given us any indication that commitment to a course of action sufficient to cause another person to die is within his character? He's wishy-washy. Just kind of stands.
He is inactive.
Oh my God, this is the first time where the movie's been hypnotized. That's why everything's so slow. The movie itself is under.
I can believe it.
Jeez. That said, this is one of the more enjoyable episodes of Mystery Science Theater.
Oh yeah,
their writing
is fantastic.
This one gives them a lot of stuff to riff on, and just talking about how gross Carlo Lombardi is carries them through a whole good third of the movie.
The lameness of the act, the grossness of Lombardi, the plankness of Dr. Ted, there was a lot of material to work with, and again, this is a Best Brains crew who are clearly energized and high on Sci-Fi Channel money.
Yeah, they're
so they just pile it on.
They're
and
at the top of their game.
And there's enough good. Yeah, they're just really. I mean, they were doing really good throughout season 6 and 7, and then they go right into, and then after that, and then after the disappointment of getting canceled by Comedy Central, right to Sci-Fi Channel with what I can only assume is a bigger budget.
I mean, it would have to be, right?
So, I would not recommend watching The She-Creature by itself.
No. I would not recommend watching The Creature of Destruction by itself. I mean, if you want to get the experience of The Creature of Destruction, just go to archive.org, load it up, watch literally until they start having sound effects, and you're fine. You have about a good 6-7 minutes of the worst monster costume you've seen this side of Party Beach, and then you can just move on with your life. Babyface McGee.
Oh, I think we've milked this.
Yep. All right. Well, enjoy, everyone, and thank you for listening.
Yep. And we'll try and get back to doing these on the regs.
On the regs.
Oh, not everybody. Gonna rain. Toe hurts. Hey, Pipples! Did you like that bit of nonsense? Well, then why don't you click like and subscribe and press that bell or whatever YouTube wants you to do?
You can also do us a big solid by joining our Patreon, where you'll get to join us for live streams, get early access to the newest videos, and other such things.
Geek Vision.